Do you know the story or do you not know the story when it comes to Eurovision and Celine Dion? The superstar had won the Eurovision, and that's how she started her career. And the interesting fact, on the night that she was competing, and it was such an intense night, it was held in Dublin. Pat Kenny was hosting, and he went on to be a famous broadcaster here, recently retired. And he was so excited because it was 1 point between the UK and Celine Dion, and she won by 1 point. If she hadn't have won and the UK had have won, the question arises, would Celine Dion have springboarded to superstardom the way she did? And what a lot of people don't realize is, and it's an interesting fact, that she lived in Montreal in Canada at the time, and she was 22 when she was going into the Eurovision. And she was requested to represent Switzerland, leave Canada, come and represent Switzerland for the Eurovision. And that's the story behind the story. She was asked to, so because a lot of people, and even myself, asked, did Celine Dion, was she originally Swiss, and then after the Eurovision she moved to Canada and developed her career? No, she was already living in Canada, but was just asked to represent Switzerland, the country. Because we have quite a few questions that I'm going to get through now, because the Eurovision is coming up. It's been held in Turin. The year is 2022. We fast forward all of this. And one of the questions that people ask is, how did Celine Dion win the Eurovision for Switzerland? The Cypriot song had been drawn to be performed second in the running order, and the winner was Switzerland with the song Ne partez pas sans moi, performed by the Canadian singer Celine Dion and composed by Attila Sevrig, and lyrics in French by Nella Martinelli. Martinetti, not Nelly, Etty. I have to improve my French, I really do. And the translation of the song Ne partez pas sans moi is don't leave without me. I have the lyrics in front, and as always I will not interrupt, and afterwards I'll give you my interpretation of the lyrics, because one of the things that people say about the Eurovision is the songs are not well written, the lyrics aren't meaningful, but yet way back when Celine sung this song, there was deep lyrical meaning to the song she was singing, and it was a great song. It's one of those performances, can you believe, I have never forgotten. I always felt she had one of the strongest performances in the history of Eurovision, always, for the voice was so unique, so powerful, that I can remember on the night I was watching with my fellow siblings, I was, wow, what a voice. She's going to be all over the world, this woman. And my sisters looked at me and said, her? And I said, yes, her. And I said, can't you just feel the voice? I felt the voice as a young man listening to her, going, wow, she's going to be incredible. And she's, look, she's a superstar now, isn't she, everyone? So we're going back in time into the 80s, back to listen to Celine, back to when the Eurovision was so exciting on the night in Dublin, and I'm from Dublin, so let's enjoy a moment of the past, and then we come forward with the lyrics.
Et vous, mon ami m'a quitté, Mélanie, disque de platine, disque d'or.
Oh, this is the video of the semi-finals, the warm-up before she was sent to represent Switzerland in the Eurovision. Take it away, Celine.
7 enregistrements en 5 ans. En 86, elle arrête tout et s'initie pendant 1 an à la danse et aux langues étrangères. Aujourd'hui, elle recommence et la voici ce soir. Chanson numéro 9, Céline Dion.
Qui cherchez l'étoile, vous qui vivez un rêve. Vous, héros de l'espace, au cœur plus grand que la terre. Vous, donnez-moi ma chance. Emmène-moi loin d'ici. Ne partez pas sans moi, laissez-moi vous suivre. Vous qui volez vers d'autres vies, laissez-moi vivre la plus belle aventure, le plus beau voyage. Sur des soleils, sur des soleils, sur des planètes d'amour. Vous, les nouveaux poètes, vous, les oiseaux magiques, vous allez peut-être trouver de nouvelles musiques. Vous, donnez-moi ma chance. Je veux chanter, moi aussi. Ne partez pas sans moi, laissez-moi vous suivre. Vous qui volez vers d'autres vies, laissez-moi vivre le bleu de l'infini, la joie d'être libre. Sur des rayons, sur des soleils, sur des chansons, sur des merveilles et dans un ciel d'amour. Le bleu de l'infini, la joie d'être libre. Vous qui cherchez une autre vie, vous qui volez vers l'an 2000, ne partez pas sans moi.
Now you can see from the clapping that Celine was really, really popular, and it was a popular choice and move to bring her from Montreal, where she was based, and have her represent Switzerland, because there was an excitement in Switzerland saying, wow, she really could win this for our country, and she did, and she walked away. And it was a great move by everybody to have picked her, because what they did, unknown to themselves, was pick a voice that was so powerful that, like I said before I played this video, she has become known for that voice. Now she's on a current tour at the moment. I think I don't know if it's a tour or she's gone back to the residency. I need to research that. I should have done it beforehand. But let's get into the lyrics of the song, because even though there's excitement and there's euphoria concerning being held in Italy, Turin this year, I still think we need to remember past winners. And when I discovered with my partner that Celine had won, I said, I've got to feature that in the run-up. And we've only got a few days for the big semi-final, in the run-up to the final, which will be this Saturday week. Hard to believe. So the lyrics, because it's live, you've got to just give me a minute. Now, who are you? It starts. You who are looking for the star, you who lives the dream, you hero from space with a heart bigger than Earth. You give me a chance, take me far from here. Well, it's very relatable, isn't it, the lyrics to Celine's career, because she said, you who are looking for the star, all singers look for the stars. They want to reach the stars. They want to be that person that entertains everybody that sits in front of them. And that's what Celine has done. You who lives a dream. Well, she was living a dream. It's almost like the lyrics were written for her. Sorry, not wrote, written for her. With a bigger heart than earth, you give me a chance. And they did. Switzerland gave Celine that chance to leave Montreal and represent their country. And boy, did she do it and smash it. And Take Me, it ends on the first verse, far from here. Well, it certainly did, Celine. It got you superstar status instantly. Everybody was interested in this voice. Continues, don't leave without me, let me follow you. You who fly to other lives, let me live. The most beautiful adventure, the most beautiful trips that lead someday to the suns, to the planets of love. It's a wonderful, light-hearted song, and these are the kind of lyrics that one should be writing when they're considering going into the Eurovision. I have listened to numerous. Me and my partner have been doing, in the run-up to Turin this year in Italy, we have been watching previous years, and I mean the whole program of Eurovisions one after another. I think we're 3/4 of the way through. I think we're at 2008 at the moment. And there has been, even in the finals, representing countries, some horrendous songs. And I don't know if it's the moment or when you're listening, you're not really listening, but I don't remember half of them. And some of them, I'm thinking, that represented your country? What happened with the Eurovision is it became so expensive, everybody, truly expensive, that they were more or less passing the baton to another country by putting in a bad song and not wanting to win. There was politics involved over the years with different countries, especially in the Eastern Bloc, and there was different things going on that it couldn't have happened in their country anyway. And they sent the most god-awful acts in, really horrendous. And I have argued this point. After a pandemic, the pressure is on Italy. The world focus for over 500 million people plus are going to be watching the Eurovision. And the pressure is on every single act to perform the best they can, even in the semi-final, to get through to the final. Because the world is watching. After a pandemic, they want entertainment. So there's so much pressure, I think, this year. And whomever wins, it's going to be euphoric, because after a pandemic, to have won and lifted the hearts of so many people with a winning song and take it back to your country is truly an honor. So the standard of songs going into the Eurovision this year is the highest I have. And after listening to, with my partner over the last couple of months, different years of the Eurovision, I'm telling you, it's the best standard of songs ever. All the countries have raised the bar and the standard, and it's almost like this time they realize the importance of having the Eurovision and representing your country and bringing it back to your country, because 500 million people are watching. And after economies collapsing all over the world after a pandemic, people want that economic boost. And I think they've realized that the Eurovision could bring a lot of attention to our country. So it's turned around now, and the standard, may it long continue that next year the standard gets even better. But we go back to the lyrics of Celine Dion. You the new poets, you the magic birds, you'll probably find new musics. You give me a chance, I want to sing also. Well, they did give Celine a chance, and she was a new poet. She sang not from the heart, from the soul. And she projected that, and people just loved song after song after song that this woman was doing. And in the 90s, there was no touching Celine Dion. She was the best selling female. She's been on the Billboard. She was the 6th best selling female of all time. On the Canadian Walk of Fame, she has a star, and the Hollywood Walk of Fame, she had a star, and it just continued and continued. And her recent residency in Las Vegas and her moving there has proven the demand for this woman still is unbelievable. And to think that she came from humble beginnings like the Eurovision Song Contest should give a lot of people hope. Last year, Maneskin won for Italy, and that's why it's held in Italy in Turin. This year, think of the absolute phenomenal success they have had since. And that is why I think countries are now saying, oops, we need to change our game plan. I want the Eurovision. And they don't care about the cost now. They just want it in their country. Stages are becoming more elaborate, more beautiful, and people are going to it in their thousands. Although I have to say, the price of the tickets, 1,000 plus. Oof. Some year I said to my partner, we have to go. In recent times, we have noticed that Celine went through a traumatic period and really couldn't handle the death of her husband Rene. And people have asked about Pepe Munoz. Since 2020, it's been rumoured that the 34-year-old, and that was 2020, so he's 36 now, the young man has been involved with Celine Dion, and there was rumours he was manipulating her. She was seen with her ribs showing through her clothes. She'd lost a lot of weight. But it was never confirmed by Celine that the two of them had a relationship. So what I would say to people is, if Celine does date even a guy a third of her age, doesn't she deserve, after giving millions of people a bit of happiness, and especially after that traumatic emotional upheaval of losing her manager, her best friend, her lover, the father of her children? I think she does. So let's give her some space, some respect, and ignore the stories that are out there. Continue, Celine, continue. And thanks for the memories of your Eurovision win way back in the 80s.